A battlefield echoing with history, a foggy side street in London, and a Milwaukee bar with its own bizarre lore. Ghost tours have a way of transforming familiar places into stage sets for the unexpected. These journeys mix theater, history, and just the right dose of goosebumps. But if you're like me and the idea of a ghost tour sounds a little scary, then you're in luck. We've called in a professional. I'm Angie Orth, and today I'm back with travel journalist and former paranormal investigator Jennifer Billock. She's back to uncover the best, most bone-chilling ghost tours for your buck. So, Jennifer, which ghost tour do you think offers the best storytelling element?
Ghost bus tours in London. So you get on this bus, they take you around, there's visual effects in the bus, there's actors that pop out of the woodwork. It's hysterical. It's so much fun. I love it.
It's funny.
It's funny. It's historical, and it's really interesting for all ages. My niece and I went on it, and we had a really good time.
So for history buffs, which haunted destination do you recommend where people can do like a deep historical dive, but there's also the spooky elements?
I would recommend pretty much any battlefield.
Yes.
There's usually a lot of really educated and helpful docents who can tell you about the history and then can also tack on a little bit about the ghosts. And I mean, so much has happened at these battlefields that, they're just crawling with spirit.
So what's a tour you recommend that's more than just a walk through a haunted house?
In Chicago, I love the Devil in the White City tour, where you get on a bus and it takes you to all of the places where H.H. Holmes frequented, where his murder mansion was, which is now a post office, by the way. So I love that. And then in Milwaukee, there is Brew City Ghost Tours, which I really enjoy because you learn some fun pieces of history about, like, for example, a guy who was killed by a bow and arrow outside of a bar, and then like another gangster a wannabe gangster who was like paved over in a parking lot. It's really interesting.
Okay, so for the person, obviously this is not about me. This is for the initiated, the person who doesn't scare easily. What's a destination that is for that person? Somebody more like you than me.
This is a tough question.
Okay.
I think the killing fields in Cambodia. It is such an emotional experience. You walk around, you see pieces of clothing sticking out of the ground from where the poor tortured people were just left. And then there's this beautiful museum that is so emotionally intense, but it also has that kind of spooky element, like people have seen ghosts there. So for me, if you are really into ghosts, if you are really into history, and if you're not afraid to have an emotional experience, I highly recommend that. It was one of the most meaningful trips I've ever taken.
Very moving.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so.
What is the most genuinely unsettling experience you've had in all of your ghosty travels?
Okay, I have to tell you about the experience I had at Lizzie Borden's house in Fall River, Massachusetts. So first of all, it's a bed and breakfast now, which is fabulous. So when you go into your room, there's like all these mannequins that are dressed in old-timey clothes meant to look like the people, right? So we're a little bit of a tangent right now, but I had this big plan. My mom and I stayed in Lizzie Borden's room and her sister's room, and I wanted to, when she fell asleep, move all the mannequins to be around her bed. But she never fell asleep. So I was like, man. But so it was probably 2 or 3 in the morning, and neither of us could sleep because we kept hearing this whispering. It was like a whispering argument. Oh. And then the temperature dropped like 15 to 20 degrees. And I got out of bed and I was like, Mom, do you hear this? Do you feel that it's colder here? And she was like, yes, I do. And so we just kind of let it run its course. And then we went to sleep. And then the next morning at breakfast, we told them the story. And then the people that were staying upstairs told us that at that exact time, all of the doorknobs on the upstairs started shaking. And they could hear like talking and like slamming of things. And I was like, wow.
And so the people who work there, are they like, this is common? Yeah. Or was that, so this happens all the time?
Yeah. No, I did have a different experience that was very funny there, is that a family thought that I was a ghost. So like the bathroom is across the hall from Lizzie's room. And there's another a room at the end of the hall, which is where her stepmother was found. And so this family was staying in the stepmother's room, but they slept with their door open.
In a haunted house?
At a bed and breakfast? Like, I don't know. It was just weird. But probably at like 2 a.m, I got up and I like tiptoed across to the bathroom, and I used the bathroom and I tiptoed back. And then at breakfast the next morning, this family is like, we had the craziest experience. At like 2 a.m, we heard footsteps, we heard a door close, and then we heard footsteps again. And I'm like hitting my mom under the table. I'm like, that was me.
You're like, did you hear the toilet flush?
I didn't tell them it wasn't me. I didn't tell them it was me. I wanted them to like enjoy their experience, to have their moment. Exactly. But yeah, that was
funny.
I was a ghost at Lizzie Borden.
It was me.
Jennifer Billock, thank you for joining us. And thank you, our listeners, for being with us. If you're planning a trip, be sure to connect with a AAA travel advisor. Check out AAA.com/travel or visit your local branch. This podcast is a production of Auto Club Enterprises. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a review. I'm Angie Orth. Thank you for traveling with AAA.